Send us your opinions now. We won't victimize you unless you really deserve it. Now, back to your host, Rod Peterson.
Okay, welcome back. All right. Darren's saying he can't find the Dark Horse app in his app store. You need an iPhone, dude. I'm telling you.
I know.
Okay.
Are we going to institute that?
What?
You have to have an iPhone to be on the team?
I'm an Apple guy. Look at my laptop. I'm an Apple guy. Sports update. Tyler Mott scored twice as the Vancouver Canucks beat the St. Louis Blues 4-3 in Edmonton to take a 3-2 series lead in that first-round Stanley Cup playoff series. Meanwhile, the Canadiens kept their season alive. Rookie Nick Suzuki scored the winner as Montreal beat Philly 5-3 in Toronto to cut the Flyers' lead in the series to 3-2. The Flames need back-to-back victories to extend their season as they head into tonight's elimination game against the Dallas Stars. Flames trail the Stars 3-2. Calgary forward Matthew Tkachuk is still considered day-to-day with an undisclosed injury. He's been out the past 3 games. The Blue Jays could find themselves with a winning record if things go right today. They're coming off a 3-game sweep of Baltimore as it gets set to host the Philadelphia Phillies in a doubleheader. First pitch 11-10 in that one, by the way, in Buffalo. The Jays enter the day 10-11. Toronto slugger Randall Grichuk batting .424 during an 8-game hitting streak that's featured 6 multi-hit games. The time has come for Canadian Brooke Henderson to get back into competitive golf. She tees off today at the Women's British Open at storied Royal Troon Old Course in Troon, Scotland. It's her first tournament since January due to the pandemic break. She's actually teed off already. Somebody want to give me an update? Meanwhile, Adam Hadwin and Nick Taylor of Abbotsford, BC, as well as Mackenzie Hughes of Dundas, Ontario, and Corey Connors of Listowel, Ontario, tee off today in the Northern Trust at TPC Boston. This sports update for Ballers Rec Room, Saskatchewan's newest entertainment destination. Our arcade games and batting cages are officially open. No reservation necessary. And for Red Bull Canada, Red Bull gives you wings. Just with the Dark Horse app. You're getting it now? Did you find it?
Yeah, I got it. I'm setting it up. What I don't know is I'm putting my username in, and I always just go, Darren DuPont, one word, right? I'm like, people can know who I am.
It's taken.
But No, it's not. Do I want the bookie to know my name so he can come find me when I rack up a bunch of gambling debt? I think I want something more inauspicious.
Yeah.
So they
right.
can't
There's nothing wrong with it. By the way, you can bet on horse racing for free. You don't have to put money down. Introduce your kids to betting, folks. It's just so much fun.
Yeah.
I got to say this, but everybody's going off in the comments section here about football or hockey or football. You started it. It's the poll question today for Capital Auto Mall Universal Collision Center. What do you watch the RP show for? Leading the way on Twitter, 49% of you saying football coverage, 23% of you saying Rod's Rants. That's second place. 20% say hockey coverage and 11% say other. And I haven't ranted about everything. I'm trying to calm down. It's just these kids around here sometimes drive me nuts. Facebook, by the way, football coverage running away with it too. What do you got?
Finish the poll. I got good news, bad news. So you asked.
No, football coverage running away with it. So we'll get to that on shortly. But what do you got?
Just because you requested it, Brooke Henderson today.
Yes.
She's 6 over.
Whoa!
Back in 89th. But the good news is Canadian Elena Sharp is in 3rd place at even par.
Yeah, she's the one I actually... Well, I love her and Brooke, but Alina had that Humboldt Broncos logo stitched on her bag here at the CP Women's Open in Regina. Yeah. And after that, I'm like, I'm on your bandwagon.
She's in 3rd.
Forever. So that's cool to watch, Alina Sharp.
Very cool.
We talked football or hockey, but and a little horse racing today, but I got to throw a curveball at you with baseball because we were talking about this in our morning meeting today. It's just so much darn fun working here with a bunch of guys that get along great and talk about all these things. And Clark, the baseball guy who played baseball in junior college in California, says he's, if I got him right, he said he's sick of the unwritten rules of baseball. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Craig Monroe, this is great. He says, geez, for an addictions counselor, you aren't helping the gamblers. Hey, Craig, back off. There's nothing wrong with gambling. 9 out of 10 people can do it responsibly. 1 out of 10 can't. There's nothing wrong with gambling, just like there's nothing wrong with alcohol. There's nothing wrong with video games. There's really nothing wrong with guns. So shove it. I know you're a good guy, but you don't know what you're talking about, so pipe down. So Fernando Tatis of the Padres, he's up 3-0 in the count the other night. What was the 7-3, Clark? They were winning?
Oh, yeah.
And you know the
bases
pitcher,
are loaded.
You know the pitcher's going to pipe one because he has to. That's just what you do. In an 0-3 count as a pitcher, and Tatis takes it deep. Right? Grand slam. Both managers, his own manager and the other team's manager, ripped him after the game. That was one of the unwritten rules that was broken this week. And I'm shocked that Clark would say that he's had it with the unwritten rules, because that's what I've been saying for I don't get it. Like, what did I say? Jim Lawson was on here from Woodbine. We're talking about technologies, where it's at. I think the Houston Astros should go down in infamy for being smarter than everybody else and ahead of everybody else. Yet they're getting thrown at every game, or at least that was the way it was starting in spring training until the pandemic hit. Get with it. So are we going by the old code, or are we getting with it? What are we doing here in baseball?
What lane are we're gonna take, right? I mean, that's the best pitch you're gonna get. 3-0. And I know you don't usually hit it. You don't swing. That's just because, it's all about getting on base. But he took a shot. Bases are loaded. He hit the home run. I mean, don't blame somebody else because you hung one out over the plate and got dinged for, a 400-foot home run, grand slam. But the thing that gets me the most is to have the manager throw him under the bus, his own manager. That's the
bad.
guy I'd be pulling him out. Because you can replace those guys quite easily, not your franchise player who's selling tickets, selling merchandise. The manager's not selling any tickets or selling any merchandise. He'd be gone really fast for not sticking up for his guy.
I know. And it's exciting. Like Fernando Tatis, you look at him, he's just so marketable. He is Fernando Tatis Jr. He's a big deal. He's got you interested in the Padres now.
Yes.
So, again, is it the Generation Zers coming up that just don't care about the unwritten rules of baseball? They're just going to do their own thing? I find this all very fascinating, as a matter of fact. I really do.
I know. And it's not that the old way is dying, and, it is. But the old way, the value of it is going up because it's becoming more rare. Supply and demand, right? It's becoming a rare commodity. Things like loyalty and details and all these things that you talk about, the value of those is going through the roof because it's not a common thing anymore, right?
Okay.
So when a manager can sit there and be loyal and back his guy, man, that would go so far for his job security. Because it's such a a rare thing anymore, that loyalty or that those values from the old school, and I wish we saw more of it.
This is great. Dan Millette writes in, one of our viewers, I remember when Tatis's old man hit 2 grand slams in 1 inning. There's a record never to be broken. Well, as Gary Echeverry's fond of saying, never's a long time. Remember Etch? Mm-hmm. You're right, though. That will be tough. But his kid's got something. Viewer in Ottawa says, yeah, it's a little different stealing signs via telecommunications equipment versus swinging on a 3-0 count. Who, do you make up the rules? One of the viewers has said a book should be written on the unwritten rules of baseball. I'm sure it's out there somewhere. It has to be. Growing up in baseball, the little bit that I played, you knew you don't swing in a 3-0 count. He did. But took him for a ride.
Right, but it's just like you don't swing on the first pitch. But it's not really what I would understand as a respect rule. It's just common sense of like, you want to see how the pitcher's throwing it. When it's 3-0, why would you swing? You got 3 chances. Take the walk. He can't find the strike zone.
Or hit a grand slam. As our summer student Max said, he's going after the Triple Crown. It's a 60-game season. Everybody's in it for me. If there's one thing the pandemic we've learned in this, everybody's in it for themselves. That's story time, kids. And we'll be back with Viewer Takeover. Hang on. It's the RP show you're watching across North America on Game Plus TV Network. And subscribe on Apple Podcasts and leave us a review. We're up to number 4 in Canada for football podcasts. And we're the number 1 Canadian-produced football podcast. We should probably talk football when we come back. And you're listening and watching around the world on the Rod Peterson Broadcasting Network.
You're watching Rod Peterson On Demand. For more of The Rod Peterson Show, visit rodpeterson.com or follow Rod Peterson on social media.